So this is your second fight back after injuring yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me about the injury. What happened there?
I was doing acro yoga and doing the Ian Heinisch, and I was doing
Acro yoga's with another person?
yeah, it's a partner workout.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was doing a handstand on his hand, and I lost my balance, and I landed on my neck.
Ow.
Yeah, it was, but I couldn't feel anything. Well, obviously, because I was paralyzed. But also, like, I just remember hitting my head, and I was, a little dizzy. I was trying to catch my breath, but I didn't feel like I was paralyzed. I just felt like I got a stinger,
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up and walk it off.
Right.
But then, it's like, can you feel my hand? And I was like, no, I can't feel it. And then this other guy from the park saw us, and then he helped, like, call 911 and get the ambulance over there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This is the Prize Fighting Business. I'm your host, Daniel Caycedo, and today my interview guest is professional mixed martial artist and prize fighter, the undefeated 4-0 Grace the Thai Kitten Cleveland. Grace trains with the Elevation Fight Team in Denver, Colorado, and her next fight is on February 1st for King of the Cage, taking place in Oregon. She sat down with me in studio ahead of that fight to discuss her martial arts journey up to this point, which includes recovering from an injury that left her temporarily paralyzed, living and training in Thailand for a year while being sponsored by Team Fairtex, and what's next for her career from here. So let's dive into my conversation with Grace the Thai Kitten Cleveland. Grace, thank you for joining me.
Of course, thanks for having me here.
Of course. So you have an upcoming fight February 1st at King of the Cage in Oregon, and what do you know about your opponent?
I think she's well-rounded. She looks comfortable striking, and if it goes to the ground, she looks confident there too.
Okay.
And I feel like, because her husband is, I think, a UFC vet, and they own a gym out there too called Danzig. Sorry.
Okay, so you're fighting Angela Danzig. So
Danzig,
Mac
yeah.
Danzig was her
Yeah.
husband? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they own a gym too?
Yeah, they own a gym
Okay,
in Oregon.
interesting.
So I'm going to her turf.
Yeah, going into enemy territory to fight her.
Yeah.
Cool. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I think it's a good fight. I know that she's gonna come out strong, and
Sure.
I'm just gonna be prepared,
Yeah.
like every other fight.
That's right. You're 4-0 as a pro
Yeah.
and 4-1 as an amateur.
Yeah.
So, very solid record, 8-1 overall, 7-fight win streak. So, what do you do that makes you feel so prepared? Like, what does fight camp look like for you?
I definitely would like a month out before I fight, because I'm a person that likes to prepare. So then I start training more, harder. I definitely pick up the cardio and running.
Yeah.
And then my diet becomes more smaller and cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I definitely recovery too, because I start training really hard. So
Right.
I definitely get a lot of chiropractor work and always hot baths with Epsom salt. And I have actually a neck thing I use.
Mhm.
I kind of made it out of this like a elastic kind of rope, and then it's tied with a towel, and I wrap it around my neck, so it kind of like pulls it. And,
Yeah,
like,
like
decompresses.
resistance training.
Yeah,
almost
kind of
too?
like
Okay.
also both of that, and it like decompresses my spine too.
Because you had an injury previously?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll dive into that. But so this fight against Angela Danzig, it's in Lincoln City, Oregon. First time in Oregon?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is,
neat.
which I'm super happy, because I've always wanted to go there, and I've seen how pretty it is, and I've heard good things about Portland and like
Yeah.
how clean.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's exciting. That's one of the benefits of fighting, that you get to travel around the
Yeah.
country and potentially
Mhm.
around the world sometimes.
Yeah.
But so how would you describe your style? And you mentioned that she's well-rounded in general. Her husband was a UFC fighter, so whether or not they're strong in any certain area, they're at least going to be well-rounded. How do you view your style and how it matches up?
I feel comfortable wherever it goes. I enjoy striking, but for some reason always go to the ground,
Yeah.
which I think is where I'm really comfortable at, which
Sure.
isn't a bad thing either. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I dominate. I feel strong on top, and
You had 2 submission wins already as a pro out of your 4,
Exactly, yeah.
so 50% finish rate, and both
Mhm.
of them coming through submissions. So,
Yeah.
is that something that you look for in training as well? Like when you're in fight camp, are you looking for submissions of your opponents or ground and pound? Like which one do you prefer, I guess?
I just like pressure and just control the whole time and just take it or take whatever they give me.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So top pressure, make them make a mistake, and then try to capitalize on it, whatever that be.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
This episode is brought to you by 5280 Wealth Management and their financial coaching program. For just $249 a month, you can add your own financial coach and advisor to your team. A financial coach at 5280 Wealth Management can help you analyze your cash flow, create a budget, a savings plan, and invest your money to reach your wealth building goals. 5280 Wealth Management assists you in aligning your values with your goals and then building a plan to achieve them. So take control of your finances and your future with 5280 Wealth Management. Visit 5280wealthmanagement.com/financial coaching to learn more and use code TPFB at checkout for 10% off your first month's service. And so who do you work on your jiu-jitsu with?
Valor at ETC Centennial.
Okay, cool. And a handful of people have been mentioning him as far as working with them specific for MMA, but also grappling orientation.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu is slick. It's he does a breaking mechanic. He wants you to break it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So take it home with you.
Yeah, which is awesome. Okay, because he's like, fighters are tough. They're not gonna top unless you're gonna break it.
Right.
Which is true because I hurt my shoulder.
Yeah. At least have that mentality that you're willing to if they don't tap.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So, and you mentioned you're also comfortable on the feet and you don't really care where the fight goes. You just find yourself on the ground, but you're comfortable wherever it is.
Yeah.
So who do you primarily work your striking with?
I work my striking with JD Hardwick.
Mm-hmm.
He's now the head striking coach at ETC Centennial.
And
Yeah.
you said that you guys both actually spent time in Thailand together as well before the show? Cool.
Yeah, definitely. That was an awesome experience.
Where did you go?
We went to Fairtex in Pattaya.
And you were a sponsored fighter there, right?
Yeah, and we got to meet Stamp, and she's such a sweet girl.
Stamp Fairtex.
Yeah, she's a beast too, though. She's been doing it since she was a baby.
So, and she's like a dual
She's
champ?
a double champ.
In one championship right now?
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good girl to train with.
Yeah, and it's good to, having that experience too, knowing what that feels like, and, it just makes me a little more confident too.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that's the interesting part, I think, about training around the world. You see what other people do, and a lot of times you're like, oh, I'm doing this.
Yeah, you're like, I'm surviving. I'm here. I feel good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So leading into this fight, you're actually pretty close. The fight's on February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 8 days out. Have you already started the weight cut for that?
Yes, I have. I do a month out because I don't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I just don't think it's healthy to do it the week before. I feel like you're stripping your body of all the vitamins and nutrition you need. And
absolutely.
I feel good when I do it a month out. I start eating cleaner, smaller, a portion, health, the benefits I feel from it. I feel faster and stronger.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm losing my strength.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still lift and stuff when you're in that last month, or do you?
Yeah,
try to, okay.
I just did a metabolic today at Lando's.
Nice. So you use Landau Performance as your strength and performance coaches?
Yeah, they're the best. Aaron Porter and Wrigley and Nate Smock. They're awesome towards a fighter, and they push us, and we die every time.
So what is a metabolic day? What does that look like?
So metabolic, oh my goodness, just high intensity. They want to get your heart rate up. They're pushing you, almost like you're in a fight.
Okay, so cardio oriented though.
Mm-hmm.
So on a treadmill.
Yeah, treadmill, versa climber, making you run a sled.
That's where you're like.
Yeah, oh my God, those are horrible. Have you ever done that? You're like.
I haven't, but it looks intense. Yeah, it's total body.
It is. You see it, you're like, oh, 20 seconds, whatever. But then you do it, and you're like, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah, it's horrible.
And then the sled, same idea, kind of that you're pushing
yeah,
under
you're
pressure.
grinding, getting tired, and then they make us do these sandbag punches where you're kind of just with a 15-pound sandbag, just make your arms burn out, and then battle ropes.
That's what I fight in my dreams. It feels like I'm going through water, sand, everything's slow. Cool. So with the cut being a month out and kind of doing that slowly over time, what do you try to be at 2 days before the weigh-in?
I like to be 5 pounds out. I like to make it as easy as possible. I don't want to stress about it because a lot of fighters they stress about it.
Oh,
it's it's crazy to me to think that we don't have out on fight team a person that teaches people how to cut weight.
That's a good
crazy,
point. That
right?
is a good point.
It's part of the fight game.
It's almost like folklore. It's handed down to generations on how to cut.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So how did you develop your strategy then?
I have a friend, like, back then I was a wrestler, and he taught me how to cut weight. So kind of like, because, wrestlers, they, like, cut weight all, like, throughout their whole life, and they do it as a kid.
And they're doing it weekly, week in, week out,
Yeah,
if not
so they're
twice a week.
professional. So I got really good
yeah.
advice from that.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So 2 days out, you're about 5 pounds. How do you get that last 5 off?
I like to take a bath.
A hot bath?
Yeah, that's my favorite. Sauna's awesome, but bath, I feel more like, I heard that when you take a bath, that it takes from your skin instead of your muscles.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Interesting.
Yeah, so.
And so you're just fully submerged, or like you keep your head up? What does that
A
look?
little bit of both. I move around.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea is just that it's 100% humidity, so like
Yeah.
it's not letting you breathe, and you're actually sweating
Yeah,
into the
oh my
water.
God. You just sweat hard. If that water's hot, you feel it coming off.
So what happens if you go to a hotel that doesn't have like a bath? Where do you do it?
Oh my goodness. So my last fight, they didn't have a bath or a sauna.
Huh.
And I had like, it was, I don't know, a few pounds. And I was trying to run it off, and it was like kind of hard. Like
Yeah.
some of it was coming off, but then my friend and JD and Valor, in the bathroom, they made it into a steam room. Like, thank God the hotel, like, the water was hot for a while.
Yeah, they maintain it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they put a bunch of towels on top of me, and
Okay.
blankets covered me up. My friend Jennifer, she's like my sister. I love her. She had a dryer and was like just pointing a dryer at me.
Yeah, anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to get it out.
Did it work?
It did work, actually. It was like, I had to do it a few times. It was hard, but I was just happy that it worked out.
Yeah, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to adapt, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason you like the bathtub as opposed to like running with sweats on is just because you don't want to use that energy. You'd rather just sit there and
Yeah,
kind of
it's
let
more.
it go.
Yeah, I feel it's easier on the body, more relaxing, kind of just.
Yeah, relaxing. Yeah, I
You
guess
really
so.
are
As
just relaxing in the
relaxing as it
bath.
can be.
Exactly. I like to put Netflix on or listen to music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I picture just you like in your own head, dreading every moment of it while
Oh
you're in
no,
there.
I honestly like when I fight, I do think about the fight, but I
Yeah.
honestly, my focus is just like feeling good mind space, like just. I think about food.
Yeah, focusing on you.
Yeah, I just think about. I don't try to think about the fight until I'm there.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, do you look at like film of your opponent further out, or is it just?
I look at it sometimes, but then I'm like, okay, I see. She's aggressive. She's good. Here and there, but I'm focused about myself. Well, I'm gonna, where my cardio is, how I feel, where's my strong, where's my weakness.
And that gives you confidence, just knowing your cardio's up, knowing that you put the time in, the work
exactly,
in.
the hard work, yeah.
Cool. So you fought for King of the Cage a couple times. This will be your third fight for them. How do you feel like they compare to other promotions? I mean, you fought for a handful in your career.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy
I
fighting
like
for
it.
them?
It's fun. They treat the fighters good. It's like always chill, and just go in there and fight, and then I'm out.
What do you want? I mean, what do you want from a promoter? Like, are they, I don't know, do they have like a food spread out for you after the fight? Or is it more like you just want them to be professional and make sure everything
Yeah, I
happens on
definitely want
time?
them to be professional. Like, make sure the flight's good, the hotel's booked. Like, they're kind of like catering to you, kind of like, not like they don't have to like, feed you when you need
Sure.
it, but like, just make sure that like I am there when I need to be there and you're there, like when I weigh in that you're on time.
So they do
Yeah.
that, well, especially the weigh-in. You don't want to
Yeah.
wait around to weigh
Exactly. Yeah, that's horrible when you have to wait and you're cutting weight. You're like,
in. Getting mad at everybody.
yeah.
So when you mentioned that they do the hotel and the flight for you. So do they book that for you? Do you have to book and they reimburse
No, they
it?
take care of you. They'll just fly you out, give you the room. And I think they have a deal with like casinos, so which is pretty cool though. And it's kind of fun fighting at a casino. It's very interesting.
Yeah, fun environment.
Yeah. Besides the smoking though, I don't
Sure.
like the ones that have smoke. I'm like, ugh.
It's like the only place you still can smoke
I
inside.
know, right?
So the flight, I mean, do you just tell them when you're available, or do they just say, hey, here's your flight, make sure you make it?
Well, definitely like I tell them I like to be like 2 days before.
Okay.
Because I like to get there, like relax, get my things in order, like have time to cut weight. I don't like to like get there the day of weigh-in.
Yeah, that'd be stressful.
Yeah.
And so they pay for the hotel the whole time you're there, or just one night?
I think for the whole time I'm there until
Cool.
fight night,
Cool.
which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is really
Yeah.
good.
It's like a vacation. I'm just like, oh.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, again, one of the perks of fighting, one of the ancillary benefits is you get to travel
Exactly,
around
yeah.
and get it paid for.
Mm-hmm,
All you
yeah.
have to do is show up and fight.
Right? I
Cool.
know, that's the fun part.
So where else did you fight for King of the Cage?
I fought in Iowa and I fought in Wisconsin.
Literally all over the country then?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So King of the Cage is like a regional promotion. I mean,
I think
not
they're like
really regional, but
Midwest. I think they travel
okay, Midwest.
they go like I guess they're having one in Grand Junction, which is pretty
I
cool.
saw that, yeah. That's this weekend.
Yeah, that's coming up
Yeah,
soon.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. But yeah, they try to go like California, Iowa, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Like,
So you did
yeah.
Wisconsin and Iowa.
Yeah,
and
which is
now
actually
Oregon.
pretty cool though. It was fun. Like it's so cool fighting actually in small like places like that.
Yeah.
Cause like it gets packed actually. Like
I
all these
believe it.
people come and they're just like cheering. Like I don't even know anyone. And they're just like, oh, let's go, Grace. So I was like, oh.
I think it's like those states where there's not too
Too
much to do.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just like, it's cool though. It's fun. They're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's the weekend's event in the state. Everyone's gonna travel there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
So your team, you've got Valor as your striking coach, kind of head coach, JD, kind of co-head coach, and Valor was
Cody Donovan too.
Okay.
High altitude. He has amazing ground and pound, like controlling from
That's
top
what I hear.
too. Yeah.
That he's very good at kind of the knowledge in the spaces and breaking it down. So it's not just, punch him in the face, elbow him, but trap the hand here, come over the top type of deal. Neat. So, so you just kind of balance your time between these three gyms?
Yeah.
So Centennial, High Altitude, which is Aurora, I believe, and then Elevation, which is Denver.
Denver, yeah.
Cool. And then so Cody Donovan, High Altitude, JD working with your striking, Valor on grappling, strength and performance with Landau's.
Yeah.
And then you go to Team Elevation's team practices too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that team is growing as far as female competitors too. I mean,
oh my God, yeah, it's so cool.
Now.
Yeah, now it's like there's like 5 of us, and sometimes it'll be 10 of us. I'm like, that's so awesome.
So who have you found being your primary training partners for this
Emma, and she has a fight coming up
Emma
too.
Soho?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, yeah, she's a Hoosier Fight Club.
A beast. She's an animal.
Yeah?
She is. She's fun to train with.
So, like, those are your sparring rounds you're getting in with her?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you train with there?
I train with Claire and Shauna. Shauna just moved to Denver. She's fighting in the UFC. Yeah, she's so awesome. They're both just really awesome, strong women.
Yeah, and experienced.
Exactly, and it's nice to go with them because, like, even though they're bigger, like, just being able to go with someone bigger and stronger, and I feel okay, like, it gives me more confidence, like, okay, because then when I fight someone my size, it's like, oh, like,
So what weight class will you be fighting, what weight will you be fighting at for this fight?
It better be 105.
105? Okay.
I was like, kind of 105, so it better be.
Okay, and that's Atomweight?
Yeah, Atomweight.
Nice. And have any girls ever missed weight when they're fighting you?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
I don't care.
No, you'll take the fight regardless?
I'm like really chill, yeah.
What if it's like drastic? Like this last weekend, it was like a 7-pound difference at the UFC fight, so they didn't even let it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, like, is that normal? Like, is that in
No,
Oregon?
if someone misses weight like that, that's on them. Like, I mean, I know like things happen in fight camps. Like, I mean, I've been sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my last fight camp, I got really sick. And it's just you gotta figure it out. And if you can't, like, you miss weight. You're a professional. You gotta take it like a professional.
Yeah.
So.
Do they take? So I saw that like in the UFC, they have to give up a percentage of their purse. I don't know if it's negotiated or flat, but does that happen on the regional scene too?
I think so. I think that's like any kind of pro. If you miss weight, you have to give them a percentage.
Is it negotiated, or do they just say this is the flat rate that you get?
I'm not quite sure.
Maybe it's like you decide whether you take the fight and you tell them how much.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what is so I mean, 8 days out. I mean, are you still pushing hard like this last 8 days, or is it slowing down now for you?
Yeah, it's starting to slow down now. I'm just like starting to cut more weight and just kind of get do more movement and getting like my flow in and my game plan.
So so prior to this week, kind of when you're in the middle of camp and you're going hard, everything's ramped up, what does a normal week of training look like for you?
Okay, so I train like 3 times a day.
Damn.
Yeah. So like Monday, I'll do strength conditioning, lifting, and then go to Centennial for Jiu-Jitsu. And then sometimes I either decide to go wrestling with the ETC Denver, the elevation team, or I'll stay and do Jiu-Jitsu, like a open roll, or kind of like just stay, And then afterwards, I do striking class at night with JD.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's a Monday, and strength and performance in the mornings at Landau's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what does Tuesday look like?
Tuesday, it's sparring day with Big Gloves, and then either I hit with velour or something, and then I do another striking class at night.
So Tuesday just all striking.
Yeah,
the
I
whole
just
day.
kind of like set my schedule. Like I definitely like always make like Landos for sure, and sparring, and then like definitely Wednesdays at high altitude. But sometimes like I'll just mix in extra classes I want to get to do.
Yeah,
So I,
yeah.
you know,
More reps, the
yeah,
better.
exactly. I'm like, oh, I want to go strike tonight, or oh, I want to go do jiu-jitsu, so I'll just
Okay,
go do
you
it.
just play it by ear.
Yeah.
And then you have your set days, like Mondays primarily grappling, Tuesdays primarily striking, and then you'll fit in whatever you want
Yeah.
on the side.
Mhm.
Cool. So, I mean, are you doing that Monday through Friday, or is that Monday through Saturday?
Yeah. I always try to make sure I like, at least do like 2 or 3 classes
Okay.
every day.
Yeah.
And
That's legit.
Yeah.
What about on the weekends? I mean, are you just like doing nothing? Or are you
I actually do train on the weekends too, just one time though.
on Saturdays? Or what?
Yeah, sometimes I just pick what I want to do. Like I'll go striking too, or depend like what classes.
Yeah.
Like I'll sleep in, but then I'm like, oh, like what classes are available or something.
What else are you gonna do with the day?
I just like go hang out with my friends or hike, like do outdoor stuff or
Cool.
relax sometimes. Just play it by ear, kind of.
Yeah.
Like how I feel.
And you mentioned kind of the beginning, that recovery you do with the chiropractor, but also hot baths. How did you kind of figure out that is good for you, or that's what you enjoy?
I just like it. I don't know. I really like hot baths, but I think the heat just helps like my muscles not tense up so much, just relax.
Stay loose so that you can keep doing these practices.
Yeah. I feel like after I hurt my neck, I moved to Thailand like 4 months after I got out of the hospital. Yeah, it was just quick. And I think that really helped my recovery too, because it's hot and humid out there.
Yeah.
And so like, cause when it gets cold, your body, like your knee starts to ache or you feel like tight.
tight.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like heat really helps, it does help your blood flow and relax your muscles. So.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a little bit of time in Thailand, and I felt like it could have been in my head, I have no idea, but I felt like I was recovering faster in between training sessions, just the warmth or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also the fact that you have nothing else to do, so you can go take a nap
right,
in between.
exactly. It's more chill and simple. Yeah.
So this is your second fight back after injuring yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me about the injury. What happened there?
My shoulder.
Your shoulders at the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, right?
Tell me about both of them.
So my neck was June 11, 2017.
Oh, so it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. So.
But it was a scary incident for you.
It was crazy. I was doing acro yoga and doing the Ian Heinisch, and I was doing
acro yoga's with another person.
Yeah, it's a partner workout.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was doing a handstand on his hand, and I lost my balance, and I landed on my neck. Yeah, it was, but I couldn't feel anything. Well, obviously, because I was paralyzed. But also, like, I just remember hitting my head, and I was, a little dizzy. I was trying to catch my breath, but I didn't feel like I was paralyzed. I just felt like I got, a stinger,
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get up and walk it off.
Right.
But then, Ian was like, "Can you feel my hand?" And I was like, "No, I can't feel it." And then this other guy from the park saw us. And then he helped, like, call 911 and get the ambulance over there. Yeah.
So they pick you up, they take you to the hospital. What happens? What do you have to do?
So they took me to Denver Health, and I was so sad because I was wearing my favorite shirt. And they, like, can't take it off you. They cut it. I was like,
no.
I know. I was like, no, I'm such a girl. I was like, no, my shirt. But they, they just, like, check you and, like, do all these MRIs and the scan. But I guess they took my blood, and I actually found out I was pregnant, and I didn't know I was pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Jeez.
The doctor comes back in, and I was like, you're pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, I'm not pregnant. And I told him, like, take another test. He's like, I can't. It's a blood test. It's the best test you can get. And then, so that actually freaked me out. That's when I actually started crying. Like, I didn't even, because I didn't know what was happening,
I
with
could
my
imagine
neck.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. And then, anyway, so then they come back, and then I go, like, you have a spinal cord injury. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't, like, no, I don't know if I knew how to process it.
Sure,
or, like,
didn't, like, hit you all the way.
Like, I don't know. Like, because I honestly didn't even have a clue, like, what was wrong with me.
Or
what he
that
was telling me. Like,
means.
exactly. And, so anyways, they were just like, it's going to take maybe a year or even longer to be able to walk again. Like, they gotta tell you the worst, though,
Sure.
Yeah, so it's just all this crazy thing happening at once, and like, anyways, I just told myself that I was like, I'm gonna fight again.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing that you go from paralysis to fighting, and even in 2 years, but 1.5 is really what it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, what does it look like as far as that recovery process? Like, how do you develop those,
Mhm.
walking ability again,
Yeah. Oh my God, it
training
was
ability,
crazy. I feel like thank God I was healthy,
right?
and I think muscle memory helps too. Because I don't think if it was for that, it wouldn't be as easy. Like not easy, but like
Doable.
I feel like because of that, my feelings started coming back, and like every time I could move my foot or anything, I just kept like throwing it, like just moving it, and just
Yeah,
like trying to.
yeah.
And they had me they had like PTs, so they had like helped me like move and stuff. It was really painful at first, like it was the worst feeling ever.
So what are you doing in between? I mean, are you like in a wheelchair? You have
At
to.
first, I had to just lay down in a bed for
Oh
a while,
goodness.
like just not move. And then they had to like try to have me sit up, which was actually really, really hard. But they're like, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. And it was so painful. And then finally, once I got up, they had me stand up. And then once they had me stand up, they had me like
So does it hurt
walking.
in your spine? Like it hurts your spine, or is
Oh
like the
my
muscles
God, just
around it?
everything. Just everything's locked up. It was like, because I think it's so high up too. Like my C1, it's like right by your nervous system, like just basically like by your brain,
Oh
like
shit.
so like I felt it in my head and then my body, like my like this feeling. It's hard to describe, but
Yeah.
it was just painful.
Gives me
Yeah,
goosebumps
I
thinking
know.
about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
So how long do you think it took, like, just going through that
just
process?
to walk normal, it took me a full year to feel
Damn.
right. But I mean, I got out of the hospital. So after I went to Denver Health for a week, they transferred me to Craig Hospital,
Mhm.
which is like the best spinal cord injury and brain trauma place.
Is it in Craig,
Yeah,
Colorado?
yeah,
So it's a
it
little
is
out
here.
there.
Oh no, not Craig. I mean, it's actually
Oh, it's
I'm
just called
sorry.
Craig.
Yeah, it's called Craig. Sorry, but it's actually by the Swedish. It's connected to the
Gotcha.
Swedish.
Okay.
So, yeah, but they're awesome. They like they work with people with
Yeah.
that kind of injury. So they had like a program where like I worked out 3 times a day, which is perfect for
Wow.
me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, bring it. So
Wow.
yeah,
And so after a year, you're walking normally
yeah.
again, and then, I mean, can you run at that point, or is it you're
Um.
just, like, walking?
I actually did start when I got to Thailand. I actually did start running in Thailand, like on
So
my own. Like it's crazy. Like I wasn't like training with anyone. I just like I want to start running.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you go to Thailand?
Uh, December.
S
So I was in the hospital June to July, and then in December I went to Thailand.
Wow. So
Yeah.
6 months later, you're in Thailand and you're running.
Yeah. It was just like once I could move, I just kept working out home on my own, like just like doing what I need, like recovery and everything. Just kept pushing myself.
What made you
So.
decide to go to Thailand?
So JD, my boyfriend, and
And striking coach.
yeah. Hey, that's where I get the discount. I'm just kidding. And his friend Mark, can't say his last name. Sorry, but he's from New Zealand. He was like visiting JD in Denver, and we were all hanging out. And JD knows Sparky. I don't know if you know who Sparky is from Zingano.
Okay.
He actually was working at the Fairtex Gym,
Oh.
and he's like, hey, like we're trying to open an MMA team. Like we're gonna get a sponsor, like sponsor people
wow.
come and build this MMA team at Fairtex. So once they heard about it, they're like, oh, we're going. And it
Wow.
was quick. Like we literally once we found out in November, it took us 2 weeks to go out there. We're like,
Wow.
once we found out, it was crazy.
So they're paying for your training and living?
Yeah, so basically, like,
Damn.
and it's part of a hotel, though. So Fairtex Gym has, like, a resort, too, like
Sure,
a hotel
sure.
resort.
They're catered
So-
to Westerners.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it was a free place to stay in the hotel, and then
Wow.
they feed you, and then you train there.
I would take that any day of the
Yeah,
week.
it was pretty awesome.
And so you're still going through your recovering process when you're there, or are you able to train pretty much full time at that point?
When I first got on the team there, I was moving a little bit, and I had a little scare. Like, I was wrestling, and my neck got just, like, bent, and I kind of freaked out a little bit, though,
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
probably would
normal,
too.
I was like, I started crying. I was like, oh, my God. But it was just a scare, and then I was like, okay, I'm okay. And then I just slowly kept working on it, and it's felt good.
Do you like around that period? I mean, are you hesitating like in wrestling? Do you find yourself kind of like cautious or unsure of, I mean, a normal double leg, you're picking them up and
Yeah.
driving with your head.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, like, yeah, because, when you do go for a takedown, sometimes you go with your head in sometimes.
Right.
Like, that would scare me sometimes.
Sure.
Like, because I don't want to do that. Because, you know, you can, like, or if someone, like, sprawled on my head, I would get a little nervous.
But now you feel pretty
yeah, I feel
confident.
good. So when I was out there, I was talking to my neurosurgeon.
Surgeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, there you go. I talked to him, and I was like, hey, like, I want to fight again. Like, what do you think? I talked to him about my progress
He's
and
like,
everything.
he's like, no,
No, he was
don't fight.
actually, he was so actually super cool. Because when I did have a checkup before I left, and he's like, oh my God, you look great. Like, you know,
Cool.
you're a miracle. And he's like, yeah, you have the same chance as everyone else, the same risk of everyone else if you got hurt. Like, you're okay.
Yeah, so he's saying, look, fighting is dangerous, but you're not
Yeah.
any higher risk than anybody else
Exactly,
at
yeah.
this point. Cool. So, I mean, you feel pretty much like you're fully recovered at that point. And then, I mean, are you going hard in training then? Or are you like, cool, let's just get after it?
There's like, yeah, I'll go hard, but like if I start feeling something in my neck or something,
Yeah.
I'll slow down, or I'll like chill, like, you know, I don't want to injure it. So there's definitely, like, once you have an injury, you have to just be smart and just know when to push yourself and when not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was like the deal of going to Fairtex? Is it just, hey, come out here, help us build this team, we need people to train and kind of attract other people, or did they expect you to like fight too?
Well, too bad, like, I couldn't fight out there because I have a contract with King of the Cage.
Gotcha.
So that's
cool.
Yeah, but I mean, JD and Mark got a fight out there, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's cool watching those Thai fights.
exactly. Oh my God, those are fun.
Yeah, it's another
crazy.
environment, seeing everybody with
is.
their gambling and
Yeah,
hollering
and it's cool just like to see the culture of that sport and just like they're hardcore and they're tough though. Like the strength, I'm like, damn, it's intense.
Yeah. So where was the Fairtex gym? Like where in Thailand?
So it was like in the city, like in Pattaya. Like,
oh, cool. I've never been to Pattaya. Nice.
Yeah, so like we could walk from the gym to the beach. That's like, it was kind of cool.
And Pattaya is where they do the Max Muay Thai, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Is that where they fought?
JD fought there,
nice.
but they were fighting for one FC, like the Warrior.
Gotcha. That's right. They had that program out there. Neat.
Yeah.
And that's like to get into the one championship.
Yeah.
I guess get a contract is really what you're fighting for, a long-term contract.
Yeah.
Nice. So what made you decide to sign a contract with King of the Cage? Like, so prior to that, you had fought twice on Sparta.
Yeah.
And then are they just approaching you and saying, hey, we like you, we want you to sign a few fights with us?
Yeah, so when I did sign a contract with them, it was like a few years ago. And at that time, there wasn't really that, big promotion, especially for my weight class. And it was a really good opportunity at the time. And like they had all these other girls sign. And I was like, okay, like I can get these fights out. Like, no, so.
So you signed with them prior to the injury?
Before I got hurt, yeah. I got hurt after my first fight with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I was supposed to fight B. And then I had my neck injury, so.
So you get hurt, you go to Thailand, you get this at least training deal. So and you don't have to fight. Like, I'll take that all day. So you get to go train and live for free and enjoy Thailand while you're recovering. Get that higher level of training. See kind of the culture and those Thai fights, and then move back. And then how long were you there for?
Basically a year.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really long time.
I know, it was.
That's super fun.
I'm basically Thai now.
Yeah. So you trained there for a year and then you came back and then shortly thereafter have your last fight?
Yeah, I came back and I felt good and I just wanted to come back and fight.
And then you fought Kelly Villarreal?
No, I got hurt.
Oh, Shauna Ormsby.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was in March.
Mhm.
So this will be about like a little 11 months. 11 months since your last fight, essentially.
Yeah.
So you've had lots of time to train in between that, and now you're with Team Elevation.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's where you're getting looks with like Claire Guthrie and Shauna Dobson, who's a UFC fighter. I mean, that has to build your confidence knowing that you were training in Thailand for a full year and then training with UFC and pros here.
Mhm.
So how do you decide on Elevation? Like when you came back, how did you decide that was the place that you were gonna be?
Well, it just works really well for my schedule, and I work with Valor, and I really like our relationship. Like, he's very chill, and he just like trusts me as a fighter, and I just when it comes to fight time too, he makes it fun, like very like not, like when people fight, sometimes your coach can be like, oh, make it intense, like you're about to fight.
Yeah.
But Valor's like makes you laugh and like just plays around, like,
And you prefer that?
Yeah.
You prefer that lightheartedness?
It's like good chemistry, Yeah. And he's like, he's short like me. He's like, so it works well. Like I can like move on him and train with him and like, work my game with them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's interesting to hear how much fighters talk about the chemistry between them and their coaches, and that's kind of like what attracted them to working with that person on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Just, I guess it helps all around. You can hear them better, they can talk to you better, you understand each other. When did you start working with them? Like, how did that develop?
So it's when I left Factory X and was looking for a new team, and my best friend Jennifer was like, hey, like I know Valor, he's awesome, he's starting to work with girls, like he's a great coach, like just check him out. And so then I started training over there with Cody Donovan and Valor, and then that's when I started like having them as my corner. So and it worked well. Like I really like Cody too. He's really fun and he's like chill too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they work well with me. They're flexible with me. They like understand like what I need and like when I need to rest too, because especially with my like injuries and stuff, like sometimes I can't like push myself as hard,
Yeah, and is that something you just communicate to them? Look, hey, I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah, I'm like my neck's hurting. Like I can move and stuff, but I just don't want to overwork it.
Right, right. So this fight coming up with Danzig,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the preparation, like how far out do you start for something like this? Like, obviously, it sounds like you're training all the time. You spent a year in Thailand. I'm sure you're just training straight through that whole period. But like when you're back stateside, how do you decide this is when I'm going to start ramping it up? Is it just as soon as you get the call from King of the Cage?
Yeah, as soon as when I know I have a fight, I just start training harder. But I'm always training, so.
Are you always doing 3 days, or is that just inside camp?
Maybe always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
I mean, that's
training.
the goal at least.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
just keep it up. Like if I feel good and I feel healthy, then I train like 2-3 times a day.
So then, how are you taking any time off after you fight? Like, is there any gap in the training?
Yeah, actually, I do take some time off between my fights. Like, you need a balance. You gotta like recover. Your body needs to heal, and your mind does too. So when I do that, I just go hang out with my friends, go eat, go dance, go hike, go adventure.
Yeah, Colorado's the perfect place
exactly.
for it. So how long do you think you generally like to take off after a fight?
I'm going to take a week off after this fight because I have another fight coming up in April.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're signed multiple fights at a time?
Yeah, I'm trying to go get them done.
February, March, April, 2 months.
Right? Yeah.
Right. So it's like take a week off and then a 7-week fight camp or so.
Yeah.
And I assume that's also for King of the Cage?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know where that's going to be?
California.
Nice. So traveling the coast.
Yeah.
Building that fan base.
I will. And eat all their good food.
Yeah. What do you eat after your fight? What's the first thing that you want to eat?
Carbs.
Just anything, pizza, burgers.
I mean,
throw it your way.
I'm Asian. I gotta get some rice and pasta.
All right. Cool. So pad thai.
Yeah, definitely. You're just saying that because I'm Thai, though.
So yeah, I mean, take me back. Help me understand kind of how you got to this point. So just to recap, I mean, you're 4-0. You've got this good team built around you. You got Landau. You've got ETC Centennial with Valor. You've got JD working on your striking. You got Cody Donovan working on your MMA skills. Mm-hmm. You're doing recovery through your chiropractor and these hot baths. So I mean, 4-0 and 4-1 as an amateur. It's an impressive record, and clearly you're doing something right. So what was your path that led here? How did you first get involved in martial arts?
I always been athletic. I always did sports. Did basketball, softball, and gymnastics. So I was just being competitive. And I do definitely like a sport that you can do on your you push yourself the hardest. You count on your own responsibility, Mm-hmm. And when I saw Michelle Watterson fighting on TV one time, I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. And then that's how I kind of just was trying to look for gyms and stuff. I went to a couple of them, and they're just small gyms, but
so
they weren't.
So you just saw Michelle Watterson on TV, and you were like, I want to fight.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So you start Googling gyms.
Yeah, I went to a couple, and it's not easy to find a good gym sometimes. You gotta sometimes go through experience
Yeah.
Good ones and bad ones.
I mean, you don't even really know what you're looking for at the beginning of your career. You're just kind of going for a feel.
Yeah.
So what was the first gym that you stumbled into?
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that in Colorado?
It's closed now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And what was their orientation? Like, what were they, MMA all around?
It was MMA, but they didn't really since I had no experience, they really didn't want to teach me. They wanted pros because they wanted it wasn't a big gym.
Well, that's a lot to ask for.
Exactly,
hey, we only take pros. We're not building up our own.
Yeah, so I went to the classes, but they weren't really because I had no experience, they didn't really care, and
Sure.
you're just a pretty girl.
You're not really getting the attention you need.
Yeah,
or the desired attention.
exactly. So, yeah, it was an interesting experience. Wasn't good. Didn't feel good, some of the, but
you're building your foundational skills.
Exactly.
At least.
I just wanted to learn, so I was like, whatever. And then it led me to meeting more people and bringing me to better gyms though. So
did you
I'm
fight while you were with them?
No.
So is it jiu-jitsu classes, kickboxing, or is it just straight MMA?
I think it was striking. Yeah, split up like that,
Okay.
striking and jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how old are you around that time?
When I started getting into it, I was 18. But then when I was 19, I started training full time, being more serious about it.
What made that transition for you? What made that click and say, "Hey, I'm gonna chase this"?
Because I got asked to be on a fight team.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
That's a vote of confidence. That would get me excited.
You want to fight, you have to dedicate yourself. So I was okay.
Well, I mean, it's better than a lot of people kind of stepping into fighting without being on a fight team kind of coaching themselves.
I know, that's crazy. That's
That's
so crazy. I was like, that's crazy.
So you got invited to this fight team, and you felt, were you confident going in, or were you just like, hey, this is something that I want to do, so I'm going to figure it out?
Yeah. Oh my God, I was terrible. I'm just kidding. But I just worked hard every day, just showed up and just wanted to fight, and I would, I'd lose all the time, but I just kept winning.
In practice.
Yeah, in practice.
You're not losing all the time in your career.
No,
obviously.
definitely not. But I'd get beat up, and but I was always I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back and win. Just didn't want to quit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mentality you need, especially to succeed, and it's clearly paying off. So at that time, what does training look like? You mentioned you're on an MMA team. So is it just MMA practice for doing everything, or is it still broken up into striking, grappling?
A little mix, a little broken up, but then there were MMA practices too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And in MMA practice, you're going more transitioning between the two?
Yeah, striking to takedowns, or
okay.
yeah.
And positional awareness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Neat. So when did you take your first fight? When did you feel, how far into training were you comfortable enough to take your first fight?
I never asked for my first fight. I waited till my coach told me I was ready.
Did you feel you were ready?
I did, because I trusted him.
Sure. So it's you're putting in the work, so you're confident in what you're doing, and then your coach, someone that you have faith in, is coming to you and saying, "Hey, I think you're ready," and I mean that's enough to make you feel ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So then you take your first fight, and how'd it go?
It was good. It was crazy. The adrenaline, my chest was burning afterwards. I was like, oh my God, this. But
what did you feel like going into it? Were you excited, nervous?
Everything. I was ready though.
Every emotion.
It was a private event too. One of those
that's where the term smoker originally comes from, a private room of rich dudes.
Right, it was. Everyone was in
dudes.
tuxedos and stuff. It was actually cool because it was my amateur fight, and I got $500 for fighting. It was a private.
Cool.
Fight, and it's good. We had to
not
wear
$500 for fighting, just to
wear their shorts.
Reward. Yeah, that's
it was it was cool. So it was fun. My team thought I was gonna take her down and grapple, because that's where my strong is.
Sure.
But I ended up striking the whole time.
And you knocked her out.
Yeah, I did in the second round.
Second round?
Second was the first. I don't know.
Tapology it is round 2. 1:44 into round 2.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
So what do you think when you knock someone out in your first fight? And you're your coach had told you you're ready, and you're like, all right, I think I'm ready, and you get in there, you have all the emotions going into it. Your teammates think you're gonna grapple with her, but you just end up knocking her out in the second round. I mean, what are you thinking? What is that feeling?
It was fun and exciting, and everything I knew that I wanted to fight.
Yeah, you just have this feeling in
Yeah.
your stomach like this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Mhm. Yeah. I just like I hope that I don't know. I want to get a net TKO. I was like,
Yeah.
man, because now I keep wrestling. I'm like, which is awesome. But I'm like, man, I want a net TKO. Be
D-
cool.
So when you're in the fight, I mean, that was your TKO, but you also
Mhm.
have submission wins. So when you're in the fight, are you thinking, or is it more you're just reacting and
I feel
fighting?
like a little bit of both. Like I think, but I feel like I react the most.
Yeah.
So
So you're just if it's grappling, it's because that just happened.
yeah, or like because it's open. Like so, I
Okay.
feel like when I do fight, I just I don't try to like force things either, and like if it's there, it's there, and whatever they give me, you
Yeah.
know.
So you're striking with them, you see an opening, so you go for that takedown, it
Yeah,
ends up working, you're on the
it
ground,
does.
and then
Yeah.
you're looking for opportunity, and two
Mhm.
times out of your 4 pro fights, it happens.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So you take your first fight, you're like, hey, this is for me. And then you have your second fight, and that's the only loss of your career.
Oh yeah.
So that was a submission. Oh, to Mallory Martin.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, that's a good person to lose to.
I know, right? She's tough. It was a good fight. It was fun.
Do you train with her now? Because she's at
Yeah, we do
Elevation
train. It was
sometimes.
fun training with her. She's a good training partner.
So what do you think after you lose that fight? I mean, are you having
Um,
doubts about this
no, I was just
path?
really disappointed and upset. But then I was like, man, like this is the beginning of my career. Like I just have a lot to learn from. And ever since that, like I just like train harder and just learn from it.
I mean, that's a good reaction to have. A lot of people I could see getting down on themselves and having doubts. I mean,
Yeah.
it's only your second fight, lose by submission. I could see it
Yeah.
being like, I don't know, damaging to the psyche. And you're like,
You're
I'm not
right,
so
for
sure I can
sure.
do this here. But that didn't
Yeah.
phase you. I mean, you're more just took
Yeah.
it as a learning experience,
I feel like records for fighting is silly.
especially as an
Because
amateur.
yeah, and just in general, like I mean, if you look at Thailand and
Right.
internationally, they fight 100 times.
Yeah.
And I feel like you know what though, even if a person doesn't have the best record, that's a tough person because they never quit. They
Yeah.
keep coming, they keep learning. You know, they want to
yeah.
fight. It
Well,
doesn't, you know.
Manchai, Your Cow Gym, he's got like 300 fights and 150 losses,
Yeah, but
140 losses.
that's crazy. I mean, that's a tough person.
Oh, yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
no one
yeah.
would deny that he's an animal, and,
Yeah.
he still loses a third of the time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, that hasn't been the case for you. You've been fortunate enough or trained hard enough to where
Yeah.
you won your next 3 fights as an amateur. So what was the thought process as far as going pro? Like, did you make that decision? Did someone come to you and say, hey, it's about that time?
My coach made a decision. He said I was doing good, and also like at the time as an atomweight, I don't think there wasn't that many women around either.
Sure, not that many women, and not that many women at that weight class either.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, let's just go pro,
Okay, the idea being that there's more people willing to fight you at least
Yeah.
because they'll get paid and
Yeah.
more opportunity.
Mhm.
Did you find that to be the case?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I was happy. I was excited. I felt ready too.
Sure.
Mhm.
So when was that? When did you go pro?
I think I was like
2016?
22. I don't know.
You're 22 years old when you went pro?
Maybe I think I was.
So,
Because I got hurt when I was 23, so maybe 21.
okay. So you're only really a year and a half into your career and you're going pro. Wow. Wow. I mean, but you're
Yeah.
confident about it. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
nervous at all.
Uh,
Cool. So, and then you go pro, you take your first fight. So this says, as Tapology says, August 6th of 2016. So, I guess that's 3 years ago,
mhm.
3.5 years ago. And you win by unanimous decision. So, I mean,
Mhm.
is that reinforcing you're like, this is definitely it. I'm definitely going pro. I'm staying on this path?
Yeah. My pro debut was a little bit of a hot mess.
Tell me about it.
Well, I didn't take it serious enough. I should have.
Because you just figured you've been so successful as an amateur, you take the same approach to pro.
Yeah, the kind of, I think it just happens in general when you are fighting and you're doing good or something, like you just sometimes get sidetracked and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go have some fun. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, like,
I'm good enough to overcome it.
That's when I learned too. I'm like, man, this really does need your full attention.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to be like consistent. You need to work hard. Like, you can't just rely on like, oh, like, oh, you think you're good or
Right.
like, so.
Yeah. So you won by unanimous decision, but you felt like you had to overcome adversity in it?
Yeah, I definitely like didn't perform my best, and that
Hmm.
was because of me though. That was, I should have trained better, but I'm glad I learned that way instead of,
Yeah.
mm.
So you feel like when well, I guess you didn't lose that fight, but you feel like it's more a battle with yourself, it sounds like you're
It
saying, than
was,
your
yeah,
opponent.
definitely.
So what is it, what do you need to do to feel good, like, mentally going into a fight?
Definitely train consistently, eat right, make sure that I'm getting the work I need in,
Yeah.
like where my weakness is. Definitely get cardio.
Yeah,
Cardio is like a big
I'm
thing
with you
too.
there.
Exactly. Especially for little people, we just
Yeah.
don't stop.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
girls too, they're so squirmy.
Yeah.
Stop moving, like they are.
And flexible so they can get
Oh
out
my
of
god, yeah,
interesting
that is the
positions.
craziest thing. I forget like how flexible girls are
Yeah.
sometimes. It's like when you're on top of them on mount and then their legs coming
Yeah.
behind you, like,
Yes.
like what the
It's a
hell?
frustrating defense
Yeah.
to deal with.
Yeah.
So you feel fairly confident going into your next fight then? I mean, did you feel like you made the adjustments from the first fight to the second fight where you were more confident going in?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel I'm always just trying to become a better fighter,
Right.
working on everything. I work on just everything.
Your approach just refines over time.
Mhm.
And now you're in your fifth pro fight.
Yeah.
I mean, did you think you'd make it this far? Is this what you had in mind? Like,
Oh,
did you always
yeah.
think I'm going to make a run
I
as a
want to be
pro?
a champ.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was your goal when you first started?
Just want to be actually. I just want to be a really good fighter. I want to be entertaining. I want to always fight with all my intention, like just not ever giving up and just show like the best me.
So, I mean, it sounds to me like more than external vindication, you're seeking more internal kind of satisfaction for meeting your own expectations. I mean, you originally said, you saw fighting on TV and you're like, I can do that. And so it almost sounds to me like you wanted to prove to yourself that you could.
Yeah.
Then you do, you're successful. And now it's still just it's a battle with yourself. You want to continue to improve and meet your own expectations of this idea of consistent progress and reaching, ideally the pinnacle, which is being a champ.
Yeah, definitely. I just, I like Demetrius Johnson, Horiguchi, Michael Chandler, like just explosive fighters that are like so athletic and like I find that very like entertaining and I kind of like that's kind of like fight style I like to be, just like always explosive, fun, like always just moving and having a good pace and I like the technique part too. I think it's really pretty and fun. So
yeah, it's an art, right? You're expressing yourself.
Yeah, and like JD, you seen him strike?
I've had to deal with it.
It's pretty. It's really good too, though. I was like, man, like I want to feel like that too, Like,
yeah.
It's a really fun feeling when you have your like technique down to like like yeah, I'm so good at my job. I'm so good at my shots, like
Well, that flow state, I guess that's what everyone's seeking in these types of sports.
And once you do it feels great. You're like, oh my god, like it connects. Like this makes sense. Like damn,
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, you again have 2 submission victories as a pro. So, I mean, are you in practice? Is that something you work on, like specific submissions from the top mount? Or is it more you just practice jiu-jitsu and you're finding these positions in the fight?
Yeah, I just work all of it. I just like whatever they give me or I see. Definitely stay on top. My last fight, I tried to go for a leg lock from the top, and my coach got so mad at me
because you're giving up position.
Yeah,
for submission.
I went to the bottom. He's like, "Don't ever get." He's like, "Don't ever go."
I think
to
there's
the
a
bottom.
saying for that, right? Position over submission.
Exactly. So I was like, stay on top. Dominate, make him give up whatever without losing my position.
So what happened? I mean, did you take damage because of it? Like what?
Yeah, that was kind of like the only time like I tried to get a heel hook and then she kind of came on top and started punching me. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but like it was definitely a position. I mean, they got it and it was close to the end of the round, so it wasn't like too long. Right. But like I could have put myself in a really shitty position. So.
But I guess that's the time to go for it, right? If you're gonna go for a submission that puts you out of position, end of the round is ideal time to do it. So if you miss it, it's not gonna be too bad.
And I always thought getting a heel hook would be so cool.
That would be sick.
I know, right? I'm like, that'd be so cool. It's like, yeah.
So are you looking for anything particular in this fight, or are you just gonna go out there and take what's given to you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna go out there and fight.
Cool.
Whatever it is.
So you said your goal is to be a champ, just like champ of King of the Cage, champ of King of Cage and
King Cage and whatever next, be a champ.
So just be a champ in every
Yeah.
organization you fight for.
But that's not like people I feel not obsessed to be a champ, but like I want to be a champ, but my goal is to just be a better fighter.
Yeah, I mean,
Just,
again, it's intrinsic motivation as opposed to the external validation given by being a champ. I like it. I mean, I think that's, you're kind of speaking to the idea of being a true martial artist, this idea that people get into martial arts because it's something internal driving them as opposed to because there's a big crowd out there, because you get the shiny belt that you get to show off to people. You just want it to prove to yourself you're capable.
Yeah, I do. And I just I enjoy it, and it's brought me really amazing people in my life. And it made me healthy and helped me fight through hard stuff in my life. And it's short, but the journey's short as a fighter too sometimes. So you just have to enjoy it.
But you are going on 8 years as a martial artist.
I know, it's crazy. Don't say that. That's
8 years as a martial artist, 8 fights, going on your 9th fight.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I like to definitely keep busy this year.
Okay, that's the goal for this year. Short-term goal, stay busy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on the path to do that. You got to fight February 1st and then sometime in March.
Or April.
Mm-hmm. Sometime in April. Cool.
Yeah.
And another benefit, just what we talked about, traveling the world and the country. I mean, Oregon, California, Wisconsin, Iowa. You spent time in Thailand, a whole year in Thailand. I mean, those are invaluable life experiences that are only going to make you better as a person and a fighter.
Yeah, it definitely. And it's makes you definitely humble, and just teaches you more knowledge, not just besides fighting, but just life. Going to Thailand was a life experience, and just seeing other people and culture, it's really cool. Yeah.
Do you plan to go back?
Makes you thankful too.
Oh,
yeah. So actually, it's cool. I actually went back to my orphanage too when I was out there.
Neat. Because you're adopted from Thailand?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was so cool. Got to meet all the little cute kids, and meet the person that took care of me. Saw all these old pictures of me. It was really cool. So.
And then, at least in my experience, people in Thailand are so nice.
They're so sweet. They're always smiling.
Yeah. When I was leaving Thailand, my cab driver was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that it's dark out. I would take you the scenic route and I would show you. I appreciate you coming to our country and stuff." I was like, "Man, thank you. No, this is sick." Cool. So, going to Thailand and spending a year there and seeing kind of how they approach that, not only training but their life there. Training revolves around their life revolves around training.
For real, their training is for their survival. A lot of the kids, they fight to provide money for their family. You know, so. Yeah,
I know, and some people have an opinion about that that's more negative than positive, but at least it's another option.
But the kids that do it, they enjoy it.
Oh,
you can tell.
Yeah.
They want to I don't think they would push their kids to the point, because they're very family oriented.
Sure.
So
Sure, it depends where they're coming from
for
a little bit, but
it can be so. But it is, Thailand is a really beautiful place. The people are awesome. The food's good, and they just are happy people.
Yeah. What did you eat while you were over there?
Everything.
Yeah.
I did. It's so good.
So do you I know they have Western options too. Did you avoid the Western options, or did you eat Western options too, like hamburgers and cheeseburgers?
No, I didn't really eat. I ate Italian out there though. The Italian was good. I love Thai food, and it's cheaper eating Thai food out there too, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're on this sponsorship, are they paying just for lunch? And then you figure out the rest?
They had breakfast, and they would serve you breakfast, but I think the rest was you figure out on your own.
How did you do it?
Well, there was they called it Dirt Cafe.
Yeah.
It was right up the street, and it was so good. They had all these options: pad thai, fried rice. They had really good chicken and stuff. So.
Yeah, chicken, vegetables, and rice.
Yeah,
with the sauce
it's so
on it.
easy.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of street food too. I love the street food.
Me too.
I love the Thai spicy stuff.
Yep.
I love all the spicy. It's so good. It's my favorite. I was
So how did you figure out how to pay for it? Or did you have money saved up when you went out
there?
there?
I have money. Yeah, I have money saved up when I went out there. So
are you able to, do you focus on fighting full time here? Or do you also have a job?
I'm just training full time.
Nice.
And fighting.
Cool. So that's a luxury. I mean, that's nice that you get to focus on it all the time. So this is what you want to be for your career. This is the path you're on, and you're charging it.
Yeah.
Neat.
Going full force.
Yeah. So what would be an ideal number of times to fight this year for you?
As many as I can.
So just staying healthy, really.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So February, April, I mean, if you kept that up, you could fight every 2 months, theoretically, Thai style. Would you do it?
I would. If I'm healthy
Yeah?
and I feel good, yeah, I'll do it.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So this fight coming up February 1st, Lincoln City, Oregon, Angela Danzig. Do you know what her record is?
2-4, I think. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You're not
Because,
concerned
I
with
don't
her?
care. No. I mean, like, just like, just say, like, don't underestimate your opponent.
Oh,
Like,
of course not.
she's
Yeah.
tough, like.
No, it's a fight.
Yeah. It's no matter what, it's a fight.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, again, you've been at this 8 years. You're a professional. You're undefeated as a pro. You're 4-0, 7-1 overall. So what, if you had to give a tip to like a young up-and-coming fighter, an aspiring fighter, what do you think is something that helped you a lot in your career?
Just so hard to say. Because I feel like everyone's different. Our body's different. Our mind's different.
For sure.
You just have to really listen to your body too. Like, don't overtrain, but also like you need to find the right balance too, where you're not like getting too comfortable and not giving yourself enough work. Definitely recovery, because your body's your money maker. Your goal to being whatever you want to do with your fight career.
Yeah.
So just maintaining it and keeping it healthy. Like, I know, like, old school, they're like, oh, train hard. Don't matter if it
Right.
breaks. Keep training. But, like, like, you need it, like, because it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to train the same if you don't take care of yourself. So I would just say recover and just breathe.
Breathe. That's a tough one.
Mhm.
That's a tough one. I forget to breathe all the time in
I know.
sparring.
I know, right? I know. Actually, I get yelled at sometimes. Like, when I do something, JD's like, why aren't you breathing? I'm like, oh, I didn't know I wasn't breathing.
I don't breathe sometimes when JD's coming at me. Hold my breath.
Right.
Cool. So February 1st, next fight, how can people follow you?
We
Online.
can Thai_Kitten on Instagram, Facebook, Grace Cleveland, but I don't really go on Facebook.
Okay,
It's
so
not-
before I let you go, then, since your Instagram handle is Thai Kitten,
Yeah,
or Thai_Kitten,
yeah.
how did you get that nickname?
I got it from my coach because he says I'm like a kitten, like a feisty little kitten. You know how kittens are.
Yeah, they scratch the
They're
shit
so
out of you.
cute until they like get aggressive. You're like, oh shit, that hurt.
And then being Thai, where you were born, Thai
Mhm.
Kitten.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So Thai_Kitten,
Mhm.
go follow her, and watch you fight February 1st. Is it streamable at all?
I'm not quite sure. I think they do. Like, if they do stream it, it'll be on Facebook.
Okay.
Because they
Cool.
used to have it on TV live, but that was so weird. Because when I fought for them one time live, there is a certain time, like when you do a live, you have to go that time.
Oh yeah, commercial breaks and stuff.
Exactly. And so when I was the main event, I didn't even go at the end. I went in the middle because of the live and it was so
Oh,
weird. Yeah. So
Interesting.
it was
It's all a
interesting.
show.
Yeah,
Fake.
yeah, exactly.
Not the
I
fight,
know,
though.
right? But yeah, it was interesting. So I mean, I'm
So
not
maybe
gonna-
Facebook, potentially Facebook streamed.
And then I think they do air it. I think a week later though. I don't
Cool.
know, like when they do it, it's probably easier for them.
Cool. All right. So check it out. Follow you, Thai_Kitten. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Prize Fighting Business. Give us a follow. And hey, thank you so much.
Thank
that
you.
was
Thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Of course.